And the way the movie started and then the way the movie ended, I'm like, that's what I wanted to see more of. All the stuff in between was like, ugh. Yo, this may be the first movie that I'm giving an applause to without even giving an A to. Alright, so Day Shift dropped today on Netflix with Jamie Foxx and his advertised Snoop, which is hardly in the movie. So y'all, once again, I feel like I gotta talk about this movie freely, so I am going to be getting into spoilers. If you have not seen the movie, stop this, watch it, come back, let's talk about it. Day Shift, I thought was a great time. Alright, it's directed by J.J. Ferry, his directorial debut, but this man has been around. I looked at his filmography, he's been a stuntman on almost every movie you can think of, from Machete to Mortal Kombat to you name it. You know what I'm saying? He's been in it. So he's been in Django. He's been on so many movie sets, so obviously he knows his shit. You can tell he knows his shit. I looked at the budget. $100 million budget. That's a lot of money for an action vampire movie. I think Blade probably cost like maybe $20 to make, and that shit was still ill. But you put $100 million behind a vampire movie. This may be one of the most expensive vampire movies ever made. And I gotta say, from the jump, you can see where this budget went because the effects are crazy. Yo, the vampire action on fucking point. This is the best vampire action I've seen since Blade 2. Alright, like from when the movie opened up and Jamie Foxx has that fight with that old ass vampire, which they show in the trailer, but this is like the full fight. And then it goes right to California Love. I'm gonna like this movie. I said, I'm gonna like this. Yes, this is fun. But then, of course, with a lot of action joints today, they focus too much on the story, on the plot, instead of giving us what we come to see, and that's vampires getting fucked up. Now, yes, I know we do need some plot. Yes, give us some of that. But don't let the movie come to a screeching halt where we get to the point where we're checking our phones. Okay, can we pick this back up again? That's what I like about the Blade movies. The Blade movies, even though sometimes they do kind of slow down some, but they slow down just enough where we're not like, okay, can we get back to the, oh, there we go, action again. All right. And this movie falls just under 2 hours, but I feel like some of it could have been trimmed off. So I'm going to tell you what worked for me, obviously, was the action scenes. J.J. Ferry obviously knows his action. All the action scenes on here, the best I've seen all year. And I have seen The Gray Man. The Gray Man was cool. But I guess because I love vampire joints, yo, best action I've seen this year so far. Hands down. I don't give a fuck, y'all. Jamie Foxx is good in the role. And you forget that he's a comedian because, like, majority of his jokes fall flat. You know, like, I like him better when he's being serious here. When he does try to joke, it just falls flat on its, you know, I wasn't feeling none of the humor in this movie. And I feel like this movie really didn't need a lot of humor. And when it did try to be humorous, it just didn't work. And speaking of which, Dave Franco's in this movie. So this is what didn't work for me as well, is the whole buddy cop thing between Dave Franco and Jamie Foxx. Which, by the way, anybody that watches The Boys, did Jamie Foxx not remind you of MM, Laz Alonso's character in The Boys? I thought about it, even down to the way he dressed. So Dave Franco and Jamie Foxx had like no chemistry. Their scenes were cringe, and Dave Franco. He was annoying. Now, up until the point, like I said, I'm going to spoilers here. Up until the point where he became a vampire. Now, when he became a vampire, he was still annoying, but not as annoying. He was almost like evil annoying, like from Fright Night. Kind of like that annoying, but it wasn't that bad. And as I'm watching this movie, y'all, I'm saying to myself, I see a different movie that could have been made that I could have gave a solid A+ to. Like, from the way it opened up, the tone that it set, I said this movie could have been a little bit more urban, a little bit more street. You know what I mean? You got Snoop in here, you got Jamie Foxx in there. That's the buddy cop dynamic that I wanted to see, you know. And when we get that near the end of the movie, I'm like, this is what we should have got from the beginning. Not that Dave Franco shit, okay? If it was up to me, now, if I was the screenwriter or the director or whatever, I'd have been like, okay, this is going to be Jamie Foxx and Snoop's buddy cop vehicle, and Dave Franco's going to be like Leo Getz from Lethal Weapon 2. That's how I would have had it. He would have been that annoying side character that they had to protect, or whatever his role was in the movie. Stay with that, but not as much screen time. There should have been more Snoop and Jamie Foxx taking on vampires in the hood. And with the $100 million budget, I would have loved that. You know, this movie wasn't urban enough, even though it does have some West Coast soundtrack in there. And it even ends with the, yo, I love the way this movie ended with Snoop coming out the sewer, right, after having gotten bit. I don't know if he's going to turn or what. Maybe he was already a vampire. I don't know. But he comes out the sewer and he says, yeah, one thing I always loved about LA, all the damn vampires. I'm like, that's the movie. That's the movie that we should have got. Now, shout out to my boy Blacktastic. I keep talking about this joint right here, y'all, because I'm really anticipating this. But my man Blacktastic Media is producing, writing, and directing a werewolf movie in the hood called What Have I Done? All right, we have not seen good quality hood movies. Now we have seen what Bloods versus Werewolves and Crips versus Vampires and shit, but I'm talking about a big budget, studio driven hood film that has to do with vampires and werewolves. Okay, we have yet to see that, and the way the movie started and then the way the movie ended, I'm like, that's what I wanted to see more of. All the stuff in between was like, ugh, the whole thing about him trying to raise money to keep his daughter and wife from moving, played by Meagan Good, by the way. Oh my God, Meagan Good. Let me tell you, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but Meagan Good, she can get it twice on Sunday. That's bae. Okay, I even love that final shot at the end. The camera knew what they were doing. Yo, Meagan Good was finding frog hair sweeter than bear meat. Look here, y'all. Yeah, but the whole thing. See, I lost my train of thought. Shit. Damn, brother getting pussy whipped. But nah, so the whole thing about him raising money to save his daughter from moving and all that stuff, like, okay, I get all that, but it focused too much on that, man. Give us more fun vampire stuff. Give us more, like I said, this movie could have been more urban. Now, I'm not ranting on the movie. I really enjoyed this movie. As you can hear in my voice, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This was entertaining. The action scenes had me like, the vampires in this movie were lethal. They were very agile. They were very flexible. They can bend backwards and shit and bend their limbs and everything. And yeah, they were kind of they were kind of scary almost. You know what I mean? But yeah, to me the buddy cop stuff didn't work. The jokes fell flat. They focused too much on the plot instead of giving us more fun vampire shit. $100 million, you could have did whatever you wanted to do, and I felt like this movie could have been an A+ solid, like my favorite movie of the year, if they'd have kept it more hood, they'd have kept it more urban, if they'd have kept it more street, and focus on Jamie Foxx and Snoop, and then have Dave Franco's Leo Getz. All right, the comic relief that you don't give us too much of, and we got too much of him, and I think that brought the movie down a notch a little bit. And also, and Scott Adkins is in this movie. Okay, if you've seen Undisputed 2 or like any martial arts movie in the 2000s, Scott Adkins is that dude. And he plays one half of a twin brother duo, which I'm like, they should have had their own spin-off movie. I would have loved to see more of them. The characters that we should have got more of, we didn't, because we got more Dave Franco. Throw him the fuck out of there. Give us more of these Russian brothers. Give us more Snoop with the fucking Jesse Ventura Predator gun mowing down vampires. That's the shit I want to see. So wrapping it up, y'all, I'm going to give Day Shift, I'm going to give it a B+. It could have been an A, it could have been an A+ if they would have did what I said. But who the fuck am I? I'm a small YouTuber that's struggling to get 5,000 subscribers. What the fuck do I know? Alright, but yo, B+ is what I got for Day Shift. I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed this joint. That's why I said I gave it an applause, but couldn't give it an A just because the action was that fucking good. I want to see more from JJ Ferry, whatever he does next. If he does a sequel to this called Night Shift, I'm all for it, man. Because the action in this movie, top notch. Old school action, vampire action, takes it back to Blade 2, From Dusk Till Dawn. And then they even had that Lost Boys reference at the end of the movie, man. Dug it. So what did you guys think of Day Shift? Comment freely below. Let me know what you thought. If you like and dig this content, hit that like and subscribe notification bell in the corner. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.